Hey, it's Lynn Brown. I'm a results coach. And honestly, the first half of my life, I was trapped in comparison. And in my spare time, I was like a world class people pleaser. And I really thought I was going to have to just settle for less. I just had decided that that was just the way that my life was going to be. I'd almost convinced myself that second place was as good as it would ever get. And then began to look at things differently. And it was so amazing because that's when things began to change. When I started looking at things differently, I'm sure that we could all agree that what we think about matters, and it definitely affects our results. So I really started thinking about what I was thinking about, and it was funny because my self image kept me trapped for years, but I was totally unaware of that. And we can't see what we can't see. We don't know what we don't know. So I was doing the very best that I could do with the awareness that I had. So it wasn't until I moved into this growth journey and I finally got a coach that I was able to see from a different perspective. When I began to see that my value, the true value on my life, and when I began to believe what I had heard in church all of my life, then things changed. I began to get different results. Yes, I got different results on the scales. I realized that just wanting to be summer ready and beach body ready, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough for me to reach my goals. It had to be bigger than that. We hear all the time about the why, and sometimes we think, oh yeah, I've heard that before, that your why matters, but it truly, truly does. And you have to know really why you want the things in your life. It can't just be because you want them. I don't want to just have a beach house. There's a reason that I want to be able to go to the beach every summer. There's got to be more. It's got to be attached to my personal values in my life, what's important to me, which is my family. So your why, even in the area of weight loss and wellness, even matters. Your why really matters in any area of your life that you want to get a different result. And just like I would not ever outperform my self-esteem, you're not going to either. And we know that just even in the area of anxiousness and mindset, when we entertain the anxious thoughts, we create anxiety. So worrying and obsessing over what could happen in the future or what has happened in the past will only create anxiety. So something has to change for us to get a different result. You can put anything in that blank. Whatever the thing is right now, we all have different needs and wants and desires in our life. So whatever the thing is that you need to improve, in order for that thing to change, you're going to have to do something different. I wish I could, I wish I could tell you that that wasn't the case, but that is the truth. So these two areas alone, just your mindset and anxiety, are enough to disrupt sleep. They increase the cortisol, which results in fatigue, which results, cortisol we know is definitely linked to weight gain. Lack of sleep is increases weight gain. But regardless of whether you struggle with a weight issue or not, the disruption in sleep is a definite you know immune diminisher. I mean, it affects our immunity, our immune system. It affects how we fight inflammation in our body. And I never knew. I'm just going to be honest here, but I never knew really that inflammation caused sleep disruption. So I'm learning a lot these days. But honestly, over the last 10 years, I have been creating and reading, researching just the area of sleep, because it's always been, up until now, it's always been an area that I needed to improve. So I have been able to add these sleep tools, these hacks, if you will, to my toolkit. And I'm putting the finishing touches now on my Sleeping Like a Pro Masterclass. I'm super excited to bring it to the world because honestly, if you go into just a retail establishment, a pharmacy, whatever, and you look in the area of sleep products, there are tons and tons. If you go into a bookstore, there are tons and tons of resources. If you just Google sleep, you will have more articles and information than you could ever possibly read. So honestly, I never really knew even how the sporadic sleep patterns were impacting the results and my focus and my health. I had no idea. It's funny because I remember, again, I tell you this, when my cardiologist walked into my room that day in ICU, he said, first of all, first of all, he told me about, why I was in ICU. Then he said, tell me about your sleep. Tell me about your sleep. So there is a way to better health. There is a way to better wellness and a better mindset. And they're really all tied together. So if you're ready to become the best version of you, if you're ready just to really lean into this over the next 90 days, stay close. Because we know that change, it doesn't start out there somewhere. Somebody out there does not have the magic cure for us. It's all on the inside. It's an inside out deal. It's a you and you deal. But we believe, well, I'm a person of faith. So I believe just Romans 12:2. I believe it's one of my favorite verses. We can be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And so maybe there's some old patterns, some old messages that we need to redo. Maybe it's not just because my grandmother, carried extra weight. Maybe it's not because of my lifestyle. Maybe it's not because of the area of the country I'm from or the world I'm from or whatever. So maybe we need to look at that, how we see and how we think and how we have created this programming. So after, like I said, after my heart attack, I truly began to research and recreate this whole healthier mindset idea. I began to make these gradual changes over time that have consistently improved my health. Now, I'm not walking in total health yet, and I know that we will never ultimately do that on this side of eternity, but I believe that we can become the best possible versions of ourselves. But even through all the reading and the research and the changes, up until recently, I was still not sleeping all the way through the night. Now, my sleep had improved, yes, getting, having a dark room with room darkening curtains, that definitely was part of my 10-step toolkit, but it wasn't everything because I had still not cracked the sleep code. And until I began to look at the inflammation, nothing was really changing. And really, we know this, and we also know it's not what we know, it's what we do. So it's not will it work, it's more about, are we willing to do what it takes in order to get the results we desire in our life? And that's where the rubber meets the road. It's just like with weight loss. There have been times in my life that I thought, you know what, I'm eating a brownie. I'm going to cut the corners off the brownie and then end up eating half a pan. I'll worry about it Monday. It used to be always on a Monday. Until I changed that. Until I changed that mindset. Until I changed that mindset that was not serving me anymore. We've heard that old joke. It's so corny, and I really apologize for even bringing this up because it's just such a dumb joke. But, there was a woman trapped on the roof, and she was praying for God to save her, and a little raft came by, and she was like, that's not quite big enough. And then a plane flew by, a helicopter flew by, or whatever. She's like, I'm really not into flying. So, she was getting all these opportunities and all these chances to change and make a difference, but it's like she lived in self-sabotage. She was so comfortable in the comfort zone, settling for less, just settling for average and status quo, that she was not willing to do the uncomfortable thing. And I wish I could tell you that you could just coast into greatness and you could coast into change. I'm sorry, and maybe this isn't, the podcast for you. Maybe I'm not the person for you, but it's going to take work. We know that. Nothing worth having is done by coasting in. It's just, nothing's easy. You've got to bust your butt. So in order for us to achieve a different result, we're going to have to do something different. We know that. So here's an example. Now, this isn't really in the area of weight loss, but I just want to give you this example of how you can make things happen in your life. 2 years ago, up until that point, we had never, like, had a beach house, rented a beach house every summer. And it just, all of a sudden, I just became aware, like, I want to create some new memories for my family that will be in our family for generations and generations to come, forever and ever. So we rented a beach house and we began to create new memories for our family for years to come. And no, it wasn't in the budget, but we had to make room for the new. It's just like your dreams, just like the images and the visions and the dreams that you have for your life. You've got to make room for them. They're not just going to happen automatically. We're all busy. We know that. Everybody talks about being busy, busy, busy all the time. Well, being busy is not really that great of an attribute. So the next year, I decided when we drove away from the beach last year, I was like, next year, you know what? We're gonna come here 2 weeks. And no, it wasn't in my budget. No, it wasn't in our budget. We had to create room for it. And guess what? We're doing next year? Some of you probably already figured out. You got it. It's gonna be 3 weeks. So it wasn't in the budget, but dreams don't fit into our plans. Dreams aren't in budgets. We create space for them. So this month I have a huge goal. I have a new company that I'm working with. You're worth it, and in that company, trust me, I cracked the sleep code with a product. It's called Mitoprom. It's in our products, and I'm sleeping through the night, so I don't know what else to tell you. First time in over 10 years, honestly. But I have a goal, to make $10,000 this month, and so I know that I'm going to do it because I've done it before. I have learning models in my life right now that have created that income before. I earned a car in 18 days. That's a learning model. It's a success model. And guess what? Maybe you didn't earn a car in 18 days, and maybe you've not had created that income. You probably, some of you've created a lot more than that. That's for sure. But maybe there was something smaller. Maybe you created a product, or maybe you made all A's going through school. I didn't, but those were success models. Maybe you went to college on a scholarship. I didn't. I was the only one that didn't. Just about in my whole college. But whatever it is, you have success models hidden in your past. Take them out, dust them off, and use them now to serve you. Remember, it's not about it's not about how I'll do it. It's if I will do it. And that if is such a small word. I mean, it's just a tiny little word, but it has so much power. But it's one of the biggest obstacles that keeps us moving from here to there. I know before beginning my growth journey, I blamed my circumstances. Y'all, I would blame anything. I blamed the dog, the weather, anything I could. But that word if, such a powerful but such a limiting word. I'm going to start my new eating program if. I'll start saving money if. I'm going to be nicer to whoever if. I'm going to end this relationship if. These words stand in our way and they keep us stuck in our comfort zone. We settle for less. We settle for less than we were created for. And again, I'm a person of faith, so I know that I was created in the image of God, my Creator. He wants more for us. I mean, the Bible says we will do exceedingly more than we could ever dream or imagine. Far greater things than even He did. But we gotta believe. You gotta believe that you can. So maybe you have hit a few walls in your life. Maybe you've had to fight your way out of a few hard places. But this is not a reason. Y'all listen, if y'all don't hear anything else, listen to this. This is not a reason to convince yourself there's no way out. I love Dean Graciosa's new book, Underdog Advantage. I love it. It's a teaching on the underdog mindset, and I never really saw myself as an underdog. I thought that was almost a negative way to describe someone. But over the last few years, I realized that the gritty mindset, that's the underdog mindset. That's what it is. It's constructed and made of resilience and bounce back ability. So I'm coming to you today rested, refreshed, renewed, healthier than I have ever been. A healthier body, a healthier mindset, and clarity like never before. So maybe it's your mindset that needs refresh. Maybe a refresh, a redo, a restart, a restoration. Maybe it's your weight. I don't know. Maybe it's your bank account. I don't know what it is, and it doesn't really matter what the thing is. Just leverage your losses. I mean, turn the heartbreaks into happiness. Make those things be the reason that that propel you. Make those things propel you forward into the life that you dreamed about. Dust your dreams off. I don't care what they are. It's never too late. These next 90 days are going to be transformational. If, that little word, if you choose to take the next step. And I believe in you. Don't ever forget that. I believe in you. And even if you don't believe in yourself yet, notice I said yet, borrow some of my belief. If I can do it, you can too. So stay tuned. And if any of you want to contact me, please do, about the sleep and the overall vitality products that I am taking, that reduce the inflammation and that have restored my sleep and my focus and my energy throughout the day. You can check it out at my website, You're Worth It. It's www.youareworthit.com/Lynne Brown. That's LYNNE Brown altogether. So it's You're Worth It /Lynne Brown. Have a great day. And remember, I believe in you and in the power of your dreams. Let's do this. Take care.